It wasn't pretty, nor it wasn't the game I definitely like to watch. Again, my heart rate was going crazy, and the cardiac Chicago Bears, as I called them, again, find a way to win. When you think these type of wins or the type of ways they do these things are going to catch up with them, and it's going to have them finally losing, the Bears again find a way to win. The Bears go into Minnesota, get the revenge that happened back in week one, reverse that atrocity, and they beat the Vikings by the score of as I get it 19-17 in a very again ugly game. The offense outside of maybe the running game, didn't really do much of anything. The passing game, it was kind of. I'm not gonna sugarcoat it. It was pretty bad today. Caleb Williams, I thought he was bad today. He did some nice things, but I thought he had a bad game today. Happens, but you are going up against the Brian Flores defense. And for the love of God, can somebody? I understand there's a lawsuit going up against this guy, but for fuck's sake, can somebody please hire this man to be their head coach? Please. Can somebody please take this man and get him out of the NFC North division because I do not like playing Brian Flores twice every single season. Again, like I said, he's going through a lawsuit thing, but can somebody please get him away from the Vikings so he can go be a head coach and I don't know what, he'll either flame out or he'll actually be a successful one. Right? I would hope. I would hope. Maybe the Falcons give him a shot. But personally, I think they're going to go more offensive related there with the fact that they got Michael Penix. And the only reason why I said that is because the Falcons, just lost to the Carolina Panthers on a walk-off game-winning field goal. So, hey, guess what? Bears, Panthers are both good. Great. Um, the Bears, thanks to this win, for now, are first place in the NFC North. We'll see if the alliance that's going on Twitter with Eagles and Bears fans can continue on for at least another week before we play them on Black Friday. And they need to do us a favor to beat the Lions so we can have sole possession of first place. Coming into this game, Ben Johnson made a point known that we are a different team than we were back in week one. And yeah, the way that we won, we definitely were. I guess you can make a case that we were somewhat a different team than what we were back in week one. There was still some stuff from week one that lingered its head. The offense, again, not being as consistent. The only difference on the offensive side of the ball is the fact that the run game actually was working, right? The run game actually worked, but I thought Caleb, he wasn't good today. He missed some throws again early in the game. Like he had two throws that he missed. The DJ Moore one was just a blatant fucking miss. Like I don't know what the hell he was doing. Um, the Roma Dunze one, that's kind of a 50-50 one right then and there. So there's that. But, and then again, he had a 50% completion rate. Again, I would like that to get up, but I kind of attribute that more to the drops and more of the play calling situations that the OC put him in, and just frankly, his receivers failed to continue and not learn from last week to drop passes. So clearly, I guess whatever they did didn't work. So I guess now they're gonna have to go back into practice next week against Steelers because they're gonna be playing the Steelers at home, and I would envision that being another cold game. I would hope that Ben Johnson holds these players accountable and starts finding these guys and start benching these dudes because we had a few other drops today that, in a weird way, did shoot us in the foot sometimes. The defense, it really wasn't different. Like the first game, too. We dominate the Vikings offense for a good 3 quarters and maybe a little bit of the fourth quarter. And then all of a sudden, the tiniest bit of momentum, the defense can't get a stop. They allow the Vikings to go down the field, get the game-winning field goal. Or go down the field and get the game leading touchdown in the fourth quarter late. Now the only problem with that whole situation is, Kevin O'Connell. I'm thinking if I'm a Vikings fan, I'm probably looking at Kevin O'Connell being like, "Hey man, this team has been finding ways to win in the unpredictable like comeback ways. Why are you giving these dudes 50 seconds to work with to at least have a chance to go down the field and go win the game through a walk-off field goal?" Clearly, Kevin O'Connell clearly didn't do his homework, and also too, um, they clearly went straight for the kill shot. But again, when it comes to football, you don't want to, or any sport in general, you don't want to leave too much time on the clock, right? See, in baseball, it's different, right? In baseball, when you're up, you want to make, especially late, whether it's the eighth inning or anything, right? Or you're on the road and it's the top of the ninth inning, you want to make sure you can add on any insurance runs you can get. In any event, the opposing team comes out the next inning, they smack a home run, and they may cut it from maybe, a tie game to maybe a one-run game or a two-run game. That's why in baseball, you want to score as many runs as you can if you score it late in an inning. For example, that's what the Blue Jays failed to do. If they scored any runs in the late innings in the World Series against the Dodgers, that one home run that tied the World Series up by Miguel Rojas probably doesn't happen, and they probably lose the World Series. But you get my point, right? In any sports that has a time, whether it's NBA, NHL, soccer, football, you want to make sure you put away teams for good. And if that means you got to drain the clock, you drain the MFing clock. And Kevin O'Connell, he called a play. Again, good play, good throw by J.J. McCarthy, one of the actual few good throws. I think that last drive was probably the only drive he actually looked good in this game. Because outside of that, he fucking stunk. Now, again, the same situation with Caleb, right? He had some receivers just drop the ball blatantly. Like, he put the ball in the money or in a place where only his receivers have to go up and go get it for him to help him out. But outside of that, he was inaccurate all over the place. Inaccurate all over the place. There was like a little bit of my timeline on Twitter talking about where I've seen Viking fans saying, like, bro, this guy is clearly not it. Which it doesn't surprise me that he looks like he's not that dude. Because number one, he comes from a college with Jim Harbaugh as the head coach at the time, and they predominantly ran the ball. And when they decided to throw with J.J. McCarthy, it was here and there. He didn't really, and when you look at all of Michigan's wins when he was under center, they mostly were run games due to their defense in the run game. Yeah, he made some nice throws here and there, but can you go back to his tenure at Michigan and say, oh, he actually won you a game at Michigan, and it was strictly due to him? No. Yeah, he's got better coaching, a better offensive coaching mindset in Kevin O'Connell. But again, there's only so much Kevin O'Connell can do. Like, there was one throw where he just, like, threw it, like, straight up out of bounds, bro, and didn't even give his receiver a chance. I'm just like, I'll take that. But I'm like, if I'm a Vikings fan, I'm freaking pissed. I'm like, dude, just throw it to the dude. He had two turnovers again today because he had turnovers last week against the Ravens. Again, I don't know what's up with JJ McCarthy. He don't look good. He don't look ready enough to me. And more importantly, he just don't look like he an NFL type of quarterback. Like, he's got the body of one, but like legitimately, he doesn't look like he's a prototypical NFL quarterback. I don't think he's that good. Now, again, maybe he has to get more reps and gets more understanding, but again, I'm just looking from an objective standpoint. I don't think he's that good. And I was never high on JJ McCarthy to begin with because it's like, dog, he's that type of quarterback that you don't win with, or you don't win because of him. He's the type of quarterback where you got to mask his deficiencies unless he manages to develop properly and grow out of those deficiencies and get better and improve on those deficiencies that he has, so then he can be that type of quarterback. But right now, he's looking like he's not that type of quarterback. I don't know if the Vikings are going to give up on him after this year or maybe give him one more year and see, okay, dude, it's make or break for you. We're going to see if you're the guy or not. I do think they're going to give him maybe another year to see if he is that guy, but for all intents and purposes, he doesn't look like he's that guy. Like again, it seems like it's for some situations, it's just when he plays, some teams do catch or get surprised by what he can do. Like for example, when they went into Detroit and beat the Lions, right? I think it was more and more had to do with the fact that they, again, at the time, John Morton is calling their play calling, but at the same time, they played defense like as if they never had any respect and everything, and JJ McCarthy caught them by surprise. So I would envision when the Lions play the Vikings in Minnesota, probably later in the year, right? I think the Lions defense will be like, okay, we know what you do. We're going to be 100% prepared. And for the Bears defense, for 3 quarters, they were ready to play against this dude. Now, again, some of that stuff had to do with the fact that his receivers were dropping balls and he was being inaccurate. Because let's be honest, like the first 2 drives, they were picking clearly on Deshaun Wright. If not for those drops, maybe the Vikings get early touchdowns. And maybe this is a different story. But because of those missed drops, it had the whole Vikings offense in all sorts of fits and furries. You had Justin Jefferson throwing hissy fits on the sideline. Again, I don't know if it's getting to the point where he's starting to get sick and tired of this, and he's just getting sick and tired of this waiting process with JJ McCarthy. Because it's like, dog, I had Sam Darnold, I had Kirk Cousins, I was putting up fucking numbers, and now we go to this young dude, and now I'm doing absolutely nothing, right? Be, um, So it's like it legitimately is like, dude, like he is getting really frustrated. He's getting frustrated. He's getting composed. I don't know, unless if I would be shocked if he asked out. Like if he asked out, hey, more power to me. That's great to hear, right? But the defense got bailed out multiple times early in that first quarter against the Vikings. Otherwise, this may be a different game, right? So that's the whole thing. And then special teams, yeah. Alrighty. Where do I go? Where do I go? Let's talk about the defense because I think the defense was probably the most positive thing to talk about outside of the run game today. At least for 3 quarters, they did their job. Yeah, there was a few runs that were pretty fairly big, but regardless, it wasn't any runs that were like crazy, right? Um, Right, right. So they managed to check that, and then due to basically Jaden McCarthy beating himself, it helped the Bears defense because they ain't gonna get nothing started. It also helps when you turn the ball when you force 2 turnovers. Kevin Byard got an interception, right? Nice interception there. Where whatever I don't know where the hell JJ McCarthy was throwing. Kevin Byard was cut that off and picked it right there, right? And then essentially, the Vikings are driving down again. They're driving down end of the first half. I'm like, we cannot let these guys get these cheap ass points in the second and going into the second half. Albeit we're gonna get the ball for we're going to get the ball first to start the second half. We cannot let this guy go down the field, get any confidence of any sort going into halftime thinking they got a chance. And thank God, I was telling Deshaun Wright early in the game, talking about how he needs to be sat down, he needs to be benched because he's getting picked on. And lo and behold, Deshaun Wright came up and he made an incredible interception. He learned from last week's mistake. Hey, man, don't drop the interception in the red zone in a 2-minute period, right? Because we don't want them to get some cheap, measly points. Made a great interception there. So I got as much as I don't like Deshaun Wright, I got to give him props. He got the interception there, and he did a great job, right? I did think again they got some pressure on him. They didn't sack him like they did in week 1, but they did get some nice pressure. We almost had a third interception if it wasn't thanks to Jaquan Brisker. The ball essentially, JJ McCarthy throws it up. It's basically a ball fluttering in the air because his elbow, hit his lineman's shoulder pad and it affected the throw. Tyreek Stevenson is right there, and he's right there. He's going to make the pick. He's going to take it, and he's probably going to get some extra yards. And then for whatever reason, dude, Jaquan Brisker comes out of the fucking blue, and he blows up the entire play. And I'm just like, dude, what are you doing? On top of it, because of it, he got Tyreek Stevenson hurt again by doing that dumb stuff, by being selfish, because for whatever reason, I don't know, that ball was nowhere close to the receiver, right? and he comes out of nowhere like a heat-seeking missile. And I don't know if he tried to go for the interception, but I'm sorry, bro. He ran that like his he put his head down. He saw the ball. He put his head down in the ground. Didn't care what was gonna happen. And Stevenson, I think, had the pick, but because dude hit him so hard, he not only messed Tyreek Stevenson up, it jarred the ball loose. And I'm like, dude, what are you doing? That would have been three interceptions. You're at midfield. You're in plus territory. Who knows? You may actually give your chance for an offense to get a touchdown finally in the game to essentially put the game away. And I'm just like, dude, what are you doing? And this is what makes sense for me, where it's like we got CJ Gardner Johnson, right? It makes it to where I'm like, dude, honestly, you let Jaquan Brisker walk at the end of the year. You don't even give him a contract extension unless he's willing to sign for like a fucking vet min 1 year deal, prove it deal, right? Um, and do that. Um, right? And instead, or otherwise not, you go just resign CJ Gardner Johnson and you make him be the safety because he does play the safety position, right? So that's what I would do. I wouldn't even let Brisker. The only thing I would be offering Brisker be like, hey man, look, we like you, but it's just not been good enough the last few years. You can't stay healthy. So the least we can offer you is a vet minimum contract 1 year. 1 year prove it deal. See if you can earn yourself a big contract. And if he doesn't take it, you let him walk and you let him go somewhere else and let him be someone else's problem. Right? And then you just go to CJ Gardner Johnson, you pay him a nice contract, you bring him back to the team. He's your safety replacement for Jaquan Brisker. On top of it, also re-sign Kevin Byard. Because Kevin Byard, with the way he's played this year, he's earned the contract extension. He's earned it. Like the guys that have completely turned their situations around has been him and Tremaine Edmonds. I think Tremaine Edmonds is also in the final year of his contract. Those are two guys. Hey, I bring them back, bro. Now I don't pay them crazy money, but I bring them back on a nice contract that if they're willing to take, hey, come back. And I think they would be willing to come back on nice, team-friendly deals, albeit as long as they're getting paid good enough, right? To be able to come back, especially with the fact that they do like what's building going on here. That's what I'm thinking. If they like what's building on here, they won't care about the money because they know, no, what better chance have I had to come help build something here? And again, like I said, Kevin Byard's earned gain. See, that's the type of guy where, guess what? Middle of the season, you pay him, and you give him a contract extension, right? Because guess what? He's earned it week in, week out. That's the type of guy. It's not the type of guy where Ryan Poles pays this dude randomly in the middle of the season, give him randomly a contract extension. You resign, if they don't resign Kevin Byard, that is a miss on me for Ryan Poles because he's got to come back. The fact that he's turning the ball over like this, you know, and he's creating turnovers and he still plays really good, bring him back, man. He deserves it. Tremaine Edmonds, he being in the Dennis Allen scheme, he's completely looked different, and he's a much better player. So I would hope they bring him back too, and they give him a nice contract to come back to. But the defense, they did their job. And then that final drive, the final two drives, that's when they started to let up, when momentum started to flip and everything. You know, offense, Caleb takes two damn bad sacks, right? We have to punt it. Bad return that puts, the Vikings in good field position. Defense can't stop. They let a Jordan Mason run for a touchdown. And then the final drive where you got to have it. You got to have it. We need a stop here to win you the game. They don't get the stop on the fourth down, right? They let the Vikings get a touchdown or move down the field by simple dink and dunks, and they let them get the touchdown to take the lead. And it's like, when you look at that, I'm over here sitting, I'm like, it's the exact same shit like week one. You just let this guy get in a rhythm and you let this dude go down the field and score a touchdown. Now, again, they were running the hurry up offense, which makes you another question if you're a Vikings fan. Why were they not doing that all game long when there was a positive play for once? Why not, do the hurry up to get our dudes in a rhythm and maybe wear out that defense? Look, man, like I don't know. But I'll take it the fact that they didn't do that for the first like few minutes of the game, first three quarters of the game. But as a defense, you can't allow that to happen. This guy's been struggling all game long, and you can't let this dude on the last drive of the game go down the field and get the game leading touchdown. That just can't happen. You got to grit your teeth. You got to be like, all right, we got to pick our offense up because they're not doing a good job today. And yeah, but obviously they got bailed out by their special teams and everything. So yeah, that's the whole thing there, right? So, um, yeah, special teams, man, it wasn't good today either. It wasn't good today. One of the few Tory Taylor punts that was a booming punt. Josh Backwell stupidly touches the returner who asked for a fair catch. I don't know why. You don't do that. Richard Hightower's coverage unit for at one point was looking fairly good, and then again that one punt still wasn't like it was bad. But again, Richard Hightower again. How many times do we have to say that this dude has, he's a bad special teams coordinator and he probably should not even be here. And I think the only reason why he is here is because Ben Johnson couldn't get the special teams coordinator he wanted. But I hope next year we relieve him of his duties because he's a member of the Eberflus staff. The punt and kickoff coverage is not good at all. It's not good. Albeit it's more on Cairo Santos. He's missing kicks. And then I don't know what this dude telling Tory Taylor. He should be telling Tory Taylor, bro, just boom the kick. Boom it, please. Because that's what I'd be telling my punter if he had his quote unquote big leg. When I coached football, I was a special teams coordinator. And look, dude, if my punter has the leg, bro, I'm telling him every day, like, dude, kick it deep, bro. Kick it deep. Because every time and time again, I see every time we play these teams, they be booing it to the damn near 10-yard line where we make a fair catch. And I'm like, dude, but then I see Tory Taylor, for the fact that we drafted him because he has a big leg and everything and he can kick kicks. The farthest this guy can kick is like from the opposing 30 to the damn near opposing 40. And I'm like, dude, we drafted you a fourth round overall draft pick, and you can't pin teams deep. Like, come on now. Like, again, like he punted like he's Pat O'Donnell or Trenton Gill. This dude was a fourth round draft pick. We could have easily got this guy in the seventh round pick if he was going to give me kicks like that. That's gone to freaking coaching. How are you as a coach not telling your punter, we need to punt it deep. And if you don't punt it deep, I'll go find somebody else to go that will go do what I'm asking for. Because you need to, especially in this field position battle, like, for example, that kickoff return that got the Vikings going, right? That was strictly because, boom, we couldn't punt it deep. And our punter has a big leg, and he can't kick it and pin a team deep in a dome. Okay, if it was a freaking windy elements, okay, fine. But it's a fucking dome. So, yeah, and then Cairo Santos, man. Now, he made the two previous kicks to make us go up 16-3 at the time, right? A chance to basically somewhat ice the game, but at least give you some cushion in the game to be like, all right, if they do score a touchdown here, it's still a two-score game. This fucking guy misses a fucking point-blank field goal. And I'm just like, here we go again. Cairo Santos has missed a lot of field goals this year. And it's starting to get to the point where I'm like, dude, he needs to be cut. And props to him. He did his job. He made the game-winning field goal to win the kick. Good. That's what you're supposed to do. That's why he's a captain. He picked the team up after he missed it the last time, and he won us the game again. Right? But these missed kicks, man, it can't happen. I'm glad the missed kick happened, even be it still in a critical point of the game. It happened the one field goal before because for all intents and purposes, he gonna miss the game winning field goal there. And he almost technically did. So it's just like Richard Hightower and Cairo Santos. I'm looking at this team's future for the next season. I can see in a perfect world, Cairo Santos is not brought back, and Richard Hightower gets relieved of his duties. Those right now are my first two dudes that would do this, and only strictly, again, like I said, I'll live with the Jake Moody missed kicks or his missed kick issues. But the difference is he's a stronger leg, and um, on top of it, Cairo Santos has missed more kicks than made kicks. So I don't know, man. I don't know. I was thinking honestly, if he had missed that kick and it lost to the game, I think he would have got cut first thing in the morning. Now I bet you he probably got the game ball today, more than likely. But if you ask me, I think it's time. It's ticking up. He's probably got a few more weeks left on this team, and then he'll probably not be brought back. And the Bears will either get Jake Moody to be their kicker, or they'll go find somebody else off the streets to be their kicker for next year, right? And time will only tell if that will be a decision that works out in the long run for us, right? Because I don't want to have the issues again like we had, where after Cody Parkey, we had a struggle to find a kicker till Cairo Santos got here. And then now it looks like Cairo Santos is in this mode where it's getting to the point, one, he doesn't have the distance because he doesn't have a strong enough leg. But two, he's now missing kicks. So, you know, I thought that missed kick was gonna be the kick that does us in, but it didn't. He made the game-winning kick. But I just have a feeling one of these days, one of these game-winning opportunities where it comes down to a kick, he is going to miss, and it's going to cost us. And it's like again with the Cody Parkey situation. If he missed one and he misses more, you don't want it to be a problem going forward, which means it's more than likely better to get rid of him sooner rather than later to the point it costs you in a game. And you hope this isn't a repeat of the 2018 season where we knew Cody Parkey was a bad kicker or an average kicker that missed kicks. And you get into the playoffs and it comes down to a game-winning field goal situation, and then your kicker that's been so reliable or had his issues misses the kick and it ends your season in the playoffs. I hope that doesn't come back in a situation similar to that. If we make the playoffs and it goes down the situation where we puts ourselves in a situation to win the game, and then lo and behold, oh, just like 2018, boom. And then that's going to have me starting to have some like, oh, I really hope the following season is not like 2019 season where you drop off a cliff, right? Now, I think, again, when you look at that and you compare the coaching, Ben Johnson coaching is better than Matt Nagy coaching. But we'll see. Then let's get to the offense before we call it a video. The offense, outside the run game, it wasn't good today. Caleb Williams, like the first couple of drives, he overthrew his receivers, Roma Dunze and DJ Moore. It's just those plays where you just got to have it and stuff like that. It's got to be better. The deep pass has got to be better. The drops, Jesus, man. I know Ben Johnson talked about in his press conference he wants to address that, but again, you had dudes dropping the passes. Luther Burden, he gets his opportunity. I barely saw Zacchaeus at all in the field today. It looked like Luther Burden got the opportunity. Got the opportunity that we Bear fans have been asking for. Hey, man, Zacchaeus dropping the ball over the field last week against the Giants. Give Luther Burden a shot. Luther Burden made some catches here and there, but he also made some drops. One of the first drives, he dropped a pass. And then another drop, it was just like the Zacchaeus one, right across the middle of the field. He just drops it. And I'm like, dog, we gave you this opportunity. This is the opportunity of a lifetime. You got to go out there and take it to make sure, hey, man, you want OZ to get a chance to get back in the lineup and get more reps than you, and you want to prove to Ben Johnson, hey, man, we trust you. You're taking the reps now, right? And you over here dropping the passes. Now, for all we know, next week in the Steelers, maybe they go back to OZ being in that spot and Luther Burden's reps gets cut down because, hey, guess what? You dropped how many passes this past week against the Vikings? Ramadunze had some nice catches here, but like one of the times where Caleb Williams threw to the end zone, I don't know what the hell Ramadunze was thinking. I'm like, dog, dive out for that, bro. And it looked like he made a business decision because he didn't want to get popped. But Caleb Williams gave a nice shot play in the end zone, a play that only Ramadunze got to go make, and Ramadunze doesn't make it. I guess he chose a business decision because he thought he was going to get popped. I thought he could have dove for that and got the touchdown, and that could have been a touchdown that maybe changes the outcome of the game and maybe even better. But no. So he still has his fair issues. DJ Moore, he dropped a pass. Again, right across the middle of the field. He had a catch. It was like a long, Caleb makes, I think, a long second down pass where we lost yards. Right on DJ Moore's chest. Drops it. Now, that doesn't make Caleb Williams' completion percentage look good when your receivers are dropping the passes. I would hope maybe this needs to be a thing, right? Because apparently we know like the NFL's not counting Hail Mary attempts as attempts, right? Maybe they need to also make changes for the quarterbacks. Drop passes don't count. If it's a clear-cut drop pass, that does not count towards completion percentage. Because why should a quarterback be penalized completion percentage wise for a receiver that he hits in the chest that drops the fucking football? Like, I hope the NFL makes a change for that. So then maybe that makes completion percentages for quarterbacks better. But I think that's a rule that needs to be changed too, where a drop pass, a clear-cut drop pass, hits a receiver dead in the hands and they drop it, right? In the chest, boom. You can count that. That does not count as a loss. That does not count that does not count as an incompletion, or that does not count as, in terms of affecting, or that counts, or it doesn't count as a, what is it? There is no bearing on completion percentage, right? But I don't know if they'll ever change that, right? But we'll see. But I think that should be something because, again, maybe Caleb's completion percentage is better. Maybe at least it's 55, maybe tailgating 60%, if his receivers catch the balls. Right? I thought Caleb Williams, again, he does some Houdini shit, dude. There was times where the Vikings had him in the backfield. Flat out sacked. I didn't know, like, one time, Theo Benedict getting pushed in the backfield. It looked like Caleb Williams got wrapped up, but he found a way to get out of that shit. I'm like, every week, this dude finds a way to get out of these sacks, right? Like, there was one time the Vikings brought a freaking edge defender, like a corner blitz, to blitz Caleb. Caleb sees that immediately, does that spin, and gets out of that and avoids that. And it's just like, dog, how? And I know Brian Flores is just like, he probably looking aside and is like, what can I do there? I call the perfect blitz, and this dude just dodges out of it. Now, later in the game, he did take 2 sacks, 2 bad ones at best, but it's like, dog, like, come on now. But you definitely you definitely get my point, right? You get my point, right? He still finds ways to get out of these sacks. Again, like I said, the inaccuracies down the field's got to be better. Again, personally, if you ask me, that's more to do with Ben Johnson play calling. I'm of the opinion, like, why not get him in a rhythm, get some short passes in there, and then you start to open up where he starts going for deeper, long plays and stuff like that. I did feel like he held onto the ball too long because he was looking for like a kill shot play when I'm like, dude, check down's right there. Just give it to the check down. But then again, I am not watching the all 22, so I don't know what the coverage unit was looking like down the field. So who's to say? Because we said the same exact shit against like in the freaking Ravens game where people are like, bro, why is he holding the ball too damn long? Get rid of it, right? Well, guess what? It's because receivers and the coverage isn't good enough, right? But I'll say for this game, he definitely does need to play a little bit better. You know, clearly, I think Brian Flores sped some things up on him, um, and everything. Again, and I do think, like, again, albeit we saw later in the game, they started to blitz more near the tail end of the game, but they did do that shit where it's like, all right, man, beat us through our zone. So, you know, that is what it is. But there was times where Caleb Williams did do nice things here and there. Um, we just have to hope he grows and everything. But, you would like to see his completion percentage go up a little bit more. But again, like I said, blame the fucking receivers for dropping the fucking passes. And then again, like I said, we want him to throw the ball away. Throw the ball away. Now, in those situations, I think that's when that should not come. If he throws the ball away and it's a clear cut throwaway, that should not be completed. That should not be called incompletion, and that should definitely not be attributed to completion percentage. Because if you just have nothing there to throw to, you're gonna just either you're gonna see if you have a running lane, or you just throw the ball away, out of bounds, and you just be like, all right, I'll live for another down, right? So I think if anything, that should also be accounted for the fact that should be a change where that does not go up against completion. Throwaway should not go against completion percentage. Because there was times where Caleb Williams like, hey, yes, just throw it away. Because, like, for example, the one fake screen to, I guess they were going to throw to Loveland, who would have been wide open the touchdown, but Vikings defender played it perfectly, right? And you'd throw it away because it's like it's all locked up. Now, personally, if you ask me in that situation, if you see it locked up, see if maybe you can find somebody else or, just take it yourself. But, all right, that's kind of the whole thing. The run game was good. Common guy and DeAndre Swift again had great games today. I thought again, laying the boom. Again with DeAndre Swift, when he's not doing all that dancing, he just goes and he hits the hole. I like him, and he's more serviceable back. I did like the one driver where it looked like I think that was the drive where we missed the field goal, right? Like, I love that committing to the run, wearing out that Vikings defense. The only problem is I don't know why we ran to the right side when we should have ran to the left side. Like, I don't know why. Like, we should have, you should have seen, like, okay, they can't stop us on the left side. Let's keep running to the left side until they start overloading the left side and they see clearly, right? But Kamana guy had a touchdown again today. DeAndre Swift again, I thought had a really good game again today. So the run game, for all intents and purposes, it's been figured out. And the more we commit to it, the more we commit to it. And I did like the fact that most of our runs barely came out of the shotgun. We got under center. And honestly, under center, I think that's where Caleb played a lot better than, excuse me, than in shotgun. And it's clear. Caleb Williams can be a really good quarterback under center. So for people to say he can't do shit under center, he can. And he's definitely improved at throwing the ball and even playing QB from under center a lot better than anything. But shotgun, I don't know. That's definitely been a drop for him this year compared to last year. But that's kind of the theme there. So the run game was good again. I'll take it where I can take it. And yeah, but other than that, the only other bad thing I have to say is the play calling. And then just not getting touchdowns in the red zone. We have multiple drives where we got in the red zone and we just not turning those field goals into touchdowns, right? Luckily, we got out of it today with a win, but that's the thing. We got to turn those those field goals into touchdowns. And it is again, as in the situational play calling by Ben Johnson. Today was not a good Ben Johnson game today. It was rough today from him. I think again, he did not have a good game plan, a good, thing today. So, I thought there were instances he got a little cute, like the Tyson Bagent play. Like, okay, the first one, fine. It tricks the defense. But then that second one that led to the missed field goal, you're running. I don't know why you're running that play again. You're running to the right when, if you're going to do that, just bring an extra lineman in. On top of it, why would they get fooled again by it again? Unless you're going to give Tyson Bagent the ball. Like in that situation, that's when I would have given Tyson Bagent the handoff, and I would have faked it to Swift, give it to him, and see if Tyson Bagent is fast enough to get around the corner and pick up the first down for you. Right? But I don't know. Too cute in certain situations, situational play calling. I think one of the worst plays he fucking play called, bro, was 3rd and 5, bro. A 3rd and 5 play, and he runs an outside zone read or outside zone run play to fucking Travis Homer. I saw that. I'm just like, dude, what are we doing? Now the refs missed a blatant face mask penalty. I don't know why they didn't call it. The backline judge clearly can see it. The front line judge would be able to see it, and then the freaking side judge should be able to see it too. Like he's getting his helmet tugged. Regardless of the missed thing, that was an atrocious play call. That was probably Ben Johnson's worst play call of the season. Like, dog, why? Out of all the weeks, you decide, hey, let's put Travis Homer back there. You give him a run carry. I give him a run carry. So we're going to go away from the DJ Moore thing. The DJ Moore run carries tick me off. But Jesus, I saw the Travis Homer thing, and I'm just like, what the fuck is this? Travis Homer? He barely gets any carries, and none carries. He's a special teams dude, and he's getting carries that you can either give that play to Manan guy or DeAndre Swift. What are we doing here? Stop with the Matt Nagy crap. I need the Ben Johnson stuff, not the Matt Nagy stuff. And I thought today it was more Matt Nagy crap that I saw from the play caller than Ben Johnson. That's some serious coaching. Why are we giving carries on a 3rd and 5? You gotta get a first down to Travis Homer. Fine, you run it. You ran the ball with Swift and Monangai and DJ Moore one time on 3rd down, right? Then you think, hey, bright idea, guys. They won't see this one coming. Let's give the ball to Travis Homer on 3rd and 5, and we're not going to run in between the tackles. We're going to run outside of him. They'll surely see that coming. I saw that play, and I'm like, what the fuck, bro, is this shit? And then the shit that also irked me off, Durham Smythe was getting fucking targets in this game. Durham Smythe is the 3rd tight end. The first pass we give to him, he drops it. A ball that Caleb gives to him, simple pitch and catch. He drops it. And I'm just like, why is Durham Smythe getting freaking targets? That should be a play you get to Colston Loveland. And I also forgot to mention, Cole Kmet actually had a good game today. He caught the ball into the flats, and lo and behold, he didn't go down on first contact. Cole Kmet actually bulldozed the Vikings defenders. So honestly, actually, you can make the case maybe he deserved the game ball today, too. He played good today. I was actually happy the fact that Cole Kmet played a great game for once. He actually did his damn thing today. He actually played like a physical tight end for once. Because I remember he got into the flats, bro. He carried like 3-4 Vikings defenders on his back. They couldn't get him down. And I'm like, this is what I need to see out of Cole Kmet, right? Maybe he did that because, boom, he knows his time may be ticking if Colton Loveland keeps playing good. But I'm seeing Durham Smythe get targets, and I'm like, why are we designing plays for Durham Smythe to catch the football? And why is he even in on a passing situation? What did that play call? That's the type of play call that either goes to your starter in Cole Kmet, or that goes to freaking Loveland. But Durham Smythe getting it. And he ended up getting another target. He ended up catching it this time. But I'm like, dude, why are we throwing the ball? Or why are we giving targets to Durham Smythe? This is the type of crap I'm talking about in the play calling. And the screenplay to Burton that ended up getting a nice game, right? I still am scratching my head because, again, for whatever reason, we still run these screen pass plays to the side where the best pass rusher's at. And guess what? Dallas Turner almost blew that up and almost maybe even picked it off. It was by this close. And I keep questioning. I'm like, why do we keep throwing these screen passes to the strong side of the best pass rusher of the team? And because every time it's either tipped or almost intercepted. And I'm like, Ben Johnson, please get that out of your playbook. It worked today. It worked this one time, but don't do it again, please. every single week we always run that stupid screen pass to the best pass rushing side, and it's always on Theo Benedict's side. Can we not do that? If you're gonna do that, throw it to freaking Darnell Wright's side or identify who is the weak side and you motion off of that, and then boom, you throw that screen to the weaker pass rushing side, not the stronger pass rushing side. What are we doing here? The red zone play calling, stupid. I mentioned it. The fake screen to try to go up and see if the Vikings bite on it and leave Loveland open in the end zone. Why? Why do that again? Why are we doing a fake something like that? That's a cute play call. You could have called a better play call there. And again, why are we running deep shots to start the game off? Get your quarterback into a rhythm. Have him have short pass completions, right? And then you start to open up to down middle of the field, down the field, and then the deep shot so you can trap in the defense. Right off the bat, throwing deep shots. And I'm like, dude, let's get Caleb Williams in a fucking rhythm. Let's get him in a rhythm. Let's get some nice, easy completions for him. Let's get him feeling good. And then you open it up to the deep shots. But we're going straight at the thing. Again, I love Ben Johnson, but the last 2 weeks, his play calling has not been good. He's play calling like this is the Detroit Lions with all the weapons they got. Ninja, you're the Chicago Bears. We got some nice weapons, but listen now. Your quarterback is not Jared Goff. He's not the most accurate quarterback. You got to build him up. So, we escaped again. Credit to Devin Duvernay, too. Forgot to make a mention. Devin Duvernay probably got the game ball, too, today for that return. And you can make the case he deserved it, too. You know, you get down, and Duvernay, for the most part of the season, has been bad. Bears fans have been calling for him to be cut. And Devin Duvernay, for once in his life, he finally returns a kickoff. Actually really good. Gets past midfield, puts us in field goal range, game iced. So props to Devin Duvernay for picking up the team, not having to make Caleb Williams go down how many yards to get into field goal range, making it tougher on him. And basically all you do is just run the ball 3 straight times, and boom, GG's. But, yeah, man. The Bears win again. We moved to 7-3. Right now, we're first place in the NFC North. Been a very long time since we've ever gotten that. Albeit another ugly game. And again, like I said, the offense needs to play better, especially in the red zone situations, because you can't get away with kicking field goals all the time, right? But again, the Bears find a way to win. They're 7-3. Doesn't look pretty, but at the end of the day, I don't give a shit, bro. As a Bears fan that's been through losing after losing after losing after losing, I'm happy. I'm just seeing wins. So however we get the wins, whatever. I'll take the W's. I just wish they'd stop doing the cardiac arrest. Can we win a game for once where we won like the Dallas Cowboys game where it's just a complete domination? Like I want another game like that. I want another game like that where it's just complete domination from beginning to end, where I can just be like, sit back, relax, enjoy the game, chillax. Because these cardiac Chicago Bears, man, going to give me a fucking heart attack every time, every week. But again, that's what helps by, for people who are saying, oh, you're only beating the bad teams. You only beat the bad teams, right? Games like this, where, again, don't you think now the way that we almost blew this game, that Bengals game was not important? Because guess what? Defense, again, lets the game get close and lets the game basically where you're leading the entire time, and then boom, you blow the lead. You let the dudes, what is it? You let the opposing offense take the lead late in the game, but then your special teams pick you up, and your offense, they just do what needs to be done, and your special teams, again, picks you up again and wins you the game. So don't tell me that game against the Bengals, the way the defense also blew it there, didn't help in winning this game here. So you'll take it, man. You will take it. Um, so next week we go back home to Chicago. We play the Pittsburgh Steelers. I don't know if Aaron Rodgers is going to play. I hope he plays. I hope this dude plays because you want to know why I hope this guy plays? The reason why I hope this guy plays is now you can get your revenge on everything this man has done to your organization of the I own you shit. And he had a left hand injury. I don't know how bad it is, but if it's good enough for him to play, I hope he plays so then you can get revenge and right those fucking demons. Because what is a better way for the fact that you may see Aaron Rodgers one final time in Soldier Field? What's a better way to get him out the league and retire him by saying, you always got us in our history, but we got the last laugh. So have a nice retirement, buddy. We beat you on your final in your final game. Well, that's going to be a tough game because the Steelers defense is a tough defense. Jalen Ramsey did get ejected for a punch. I don't know if Jalen Ramsey will probably be suspended for a week because of that. I'll have to go back, look at the clip to see what the punch was like. But yeah, that's kind of the thing there. So it's clearly showing. I hope Aaron Rodgers plays because I want to get revenge for all this fucking dude's torture he gave us. That's another game on my schedule that I've circled that no, we need to win that fucking game too. And the Steelers is a very beatable opponent. We can beat the Pittsburgh Steelers. They're a beatable team. Because that offense is eh. Their defense is fine, but their offense is eh. It's not that good. You know, so we'll see. But the Bears get another W, move to 7-3. We can be first place in the division, and realistically, we control our own destiny, you know, if the Lions lose today. If the Lions lose today, we're first place. And essentially that means if you want to keep first place, well, damn it, you better win more games, and maybe you can only suffer at least a loss. Like at least one loss. But if you want to have first place and you want to basically get a guaranteed spot into the playoffs, right? You go out there and you keep finding ways to win, and you win every single step of the way. And that means you got to have more wins than losses. And guess what? You not only lock yourself the division, you finally prove to Ryan Poles, we finally took the North for once. Hopefully going to next year, you don't ever give it back, right? And then you got to go out there and you guarantee yourself a spot in the playoffs. And then, you know, crazier things happen. You just find yourself to get on a roll and boom. But it starts with the offense playing a little bit better. Also, I forgot to mention, Jalen Johnson, his window to return is back. So he's definitely back, or will be coming back hopefully sooner rather than later. Which is crazy because this man apparently had a brutal injury, and now guess what? He's back. So yeah, now I hope this time they don't rush him back because I think in that second game against the Lions, they rushed him back to play. Have him take as much time as he needs before coming back. Because now we're definitely going to need it because Tyreek Stevenson, you know, apparently the injury reports say he had a calf and leg injury, and when it comes to calves, you don't mess around with calves. So for all we know, Tyreek Stevenson may be out another week, maybe a week or two, right? Because calf injuries now in sports are no joke. Because if you got a calf injury, oh no, you're not taking any chance because that's a quick Achilles pop happening. If you see calf on injury report, yeah, you don't want that happening. But anyways, I'm gonna get over, guys. Catch you guys on the next video. I'll see you guys next week. Maybe I'll do a post game NFL all game stuff and things like that because I gotta go watch these games right here. So yeah, but other than that, guys, catch you guys next video. I will see you guys later, and yeah, till then, guys, peace.